Good day, students. So for today's agenda, we will discuss about qualitative research versus quantitative research. So when to use quali and quantitative research, differences and similarities of qualitative research and quantitative research, and the different kinds of research across fields. So when to use qualitative versus quantitative research. So in qualitative data adds the detailed and can also give human voice to your survey results, while quantitative data can help you see the big picture. So research has two broad methodologies, qualitative research and quantitative research. So qualitative research is a scientific method of observation to gather non-numerical data, while quantitative research is a scientific method using numerical data. In qualitative research is concerned with in-depth understanding, which is purely described in words, phrases, or sentences, while quantitative research is concerned with measurement and numbers. It is dependent on statistical tools and numerical scale. And this concept map showing the designs of research. So research has two broad design, which are qualitative research and quantitative research. In quantitative research has two categories, an experimental research and non-experimental research. In qualitative research, seeks to answer the why, in what ways, what and how of phenomena, as opposed to what extent is there significant differences or relationship, and how many of phenomena. So qualitative analysis calculates meaning, while quantitative analysis calculates mean. So rather than biological and statistical procedures, qualitative research uses a multiple system of inquiry for the study of human phenomena, such as biography, case study, historical analysis, discourse analysis, ethnography, grounded theory, and phenomenology. So in practical research 1, we will focus in the qualitative research. So now, what are the differences of qualitative research and quantitative research? Number 1, in terms of objective, quali, it aims to create new theory based on the gathered data. So a fact-finding research used to gain understanding of individuals' differences in terms of feelings and experiences. So it promotes a deep holistic understanding of a particular phenomenon. So qualitative research is primary exploratory research. It is used to gain understanding of underlying reasons, opinions, and motivations. It provides insight into the problem, or it helps to develop ideas or hypotheses for potential quantitative research. While in quantitative research, the purpose is to test a hypothesis or theory. It is used to quantify the problem using rating scale and other research parameters. It is used to quantify reasons, opinions, and motivation. In quantitative research, the researcher begins with an expected pattern that is tested against observation. In other words, the researcher explores a known theory or phenomenon and tests if that theory is valid in a given circumstances. The reasoning starts with a theory and leads to a new hypothesis. So this hypothesis is put into the test by confronting it with observations that either lead to a confirmation or a rejection of the hypothesis. In terms of data description, so in qualitative research, natural setting, making stories out of a certain phenomena or phenomenon. So quali is making kwento out of a certain phenomenon. Open-ended questions are used. So pictures, words, sentences, paragraphs compositions, narration, and short stories are used in qualitative research. While in quantitative research, measurement setting performs measures out of a certain phenomenon. In quali, is making kwento. In quanti or quantitative research is doing kwenta out of a certain phenomenon. So close-ended questions are employed. Numbers, scales, hypotheses, calculation, and computation and statistics are applied in quantitative research. In terms of sample or size, so in qualitative, small judgment by decision sample. So smaller and not randomly selected. So purposive, intent to select small, not necessarily representative sample in order to get in-depth understanding. In quantitative research, large sample representatives of population. So larger and randomly selected. So random, intend to select large representative sample in order to generalize results to a population. In terms of data gathering, in qualitative research, unstructured or semi-structured or flexible processes or uses interviews, participant, observation, group discussion, for example, case study or field research. Okay, quali uses open-ended questions. It is a free-form survey questions. Allow a participant to answer in open text format. Responses are unlimited to set of options. For example, guide question for the interviews. What was your experiences during quarantine period on the COVID-19 pandemic? Or how did you handle the situation caused by the pandemic? In quantitative research, standardized or structured, uses census, survey questionnaire, checklist, paper pencil test, and experimentation. So uses close-ended questions. These questions can only be answered by selecting from a limited number of options, usually multiple choice or yes or no, or a rating scale. For example, or guide questions, in quantitative research, close-ended questions are the basis of all statistical analysis techniques applied on questionnaires and surveys. Sample question: do you agree on online modality class in transitioning the new normal of education? So the choices are strongly agree, agree, disagree, and strongly disagree. Okay, in data gathering, qualitative, the researcher starts with the observation and open mind without biases, gathering all exact details of the topic, and generalization or new theory is given towards the end of the research process. In terms of data gathering activities, qualitative research is inductive, while quantitative research is deductive. It is inductive since the researcher starts with the observations and the new theory or insight is generated towards the end of the research process. So the researcher starts from a scratch, a completely open mind without any preconceived ideas of what will be found. In quantitative research, it starts from a hypothesis or already created theory, emphasizing the previously researched phenomenon from different views or tested against observation. So it is deductive as it starts from an already constructed theory or principle. The researcher begins with a hypothesis or already constructed theory. He focuses on exploring the previously researched phenomenon from different perspectives. The aim of quantitative research is to test hypothesis or theory. I remember, in data gathering activities, quali is inductive, quanti is deductive. In terms of discussing the gathered data, both qualitative research and quantitative research employ inductive and deductive methods. In other words, inductive and deductive methods are not mutually exclusive with each other in research. So inductive method or bottom-up is used if the researcher starts discussion from the lowest and highest means, then explain the overall mean. Deductive method or top-down is if discussion is from the overall mean going to the lowest and highest means, deductive. So qualitative opinions are based on experience or observation. There are no criteria used in data discussion. In discussing the qualitative research data, arguments based on experience or observation are best expressed inductively, while arguments based on laws, rules, or other widely accepted principles are best expressed deductively. In quantitative, opinions are based on laws, rules, or other recognized principles. In discussing the quantitative research data, inductive method is used if the researcher discusses first the indicators that receive the lowest and highest means before explain the overall mean. If the researcher starts his discussion from the overall mean before going to the lowest and highest means, deductive method is employed. Data analysis. In qualitative research, synthesize data, interpret, and thematic, and subjective. So, qualitative research is primarily subjective as it seeks to understand human behavior and the reason that governs such behavior using the personal views of the researcher. Data analysis is influenced by the personal experiences and opinions of the researcher. So the researcher uses open-ended questions in gathering data. So there is no criteria used by the researcher in discussing the data. The aim of qualitative research is to generate a new theory based on the gathered data. Quantitative research is statistical and objective. Quantitative research is objective as it only seeks precise measurements and analysis of target concept to answer inquiries. The researcher employs a standard criteria in analyzing data. So he doesn't go beyond what is found in the set research parameters. He employs closed-ended research instrument in gathering data. In terms of outcome, Quali cultivates understanding with high validity, and there are no conclusions formulated, while quantitative research endorses a development, has high output replicability, conclusion is formulated towards the end of the research process. In Quali, the researcher begins from gathering all the small or specific details of the subject before he will give his generalization towards the end of the research process. This means that no conclusion will be formulated, new insights or theories gained will be used instead of conclusion. Again, no conclusion will be formulated, new insights or theories gained will be used instead of conclusion. In quantitative research, the researcher begins with an expected pattern that is tested against observations. In other words, the researcher explores a known theory or phenomenon and tests if that theory is valid in a given circumstances. The reasoning starts with a theory and leads to a new hypothesis. This hypothesis is put into the test by confronting it with observation that either lead to a confirmation or a rejection of the hypothesis. Next, aim. Remember that the aim of qualitative research is to generate a new theory based on the data gathered, while in quantitative research to test hypothesis or theory. Next, similarities, qualitative research and quantitative research. Number 1, qualitative research and quantitative research both have the process of inquiry and investigation. Next, Qualitative and quantitative research both improve life and help us in understanding various issues of life and giving solution to our problem. Next, qualitative and quantitative research both start with a problem and end with a new problem. Next, both use textual forms in analyzing and interpretation of data. Both use inductive and deductive methods of presenting data. So in research methods to be used in your particular field of study, whatever methods are used, they are many resources to support research and any number of variations to the basic methods. Choosing a method of research that is adaptable in your study as a learner guides you to start making a decision on what topic you want to pursue. So developing an interest in different kinds of research will help you look into something that affects your personality of your life in some important way. If you're interested on a topic you are researching, you will enjoy reading and learning about it. To define clearly the types of research in areas of interest you want to embark, focus your scientific skills, your passion, and ideas. It supports you to connect to your career path. Okay, number 1. Ayan. Arts-based research. So arts-based research is defined as the use of personal expression in various art form as a primary mode of inquiry. It includes studies that may accompany or include the artistic expressions of others and its making and doing of arts as a means of understanding life. So for example, the role of arts in student achievement in reading, how classroom artistic structure motivates learning. Another example, how the arts benefit student achievement, or the arts and the transfer of learning. Research in humanities is designed to explore human culture such as philosophy, religion, literature, linguistics, and history. It also includes ancient and modern languages, human geography, laws, politics, and other social sciences. Humanities are academic disciplines that study aspects of human society. So, the example of research in humanities are values education in the public school, practices and challenges, or religious education in the private schools, practices and challenges, children in conflict with the law, a resolution and intervention. Or another example, political system and government in the Metro Manila or National Capital Region. Okay, next. Sports research is designed to help athletes reach and sustain their ideal body and wellness goals through proven high-quality products. It is conducted to explain the underlying mechanisms how athletes maintain their good physical appearance and healthy lifestyle. It gives the coaches and athletes a way to gain solid information and apply it to sports performance. It helps the coaches form beliefs to develop programs and coaching techniques. So for example, student involvement in athletics and their academic performance, sport and fitness support on students in public schools. Another example, participation of students in athletics and their academic performance, the role and experiences of the sport team captains, or the impact of sports activities on the self-efficacy of students. Okay, next. Science research is designed to discover laws, postulate theories that can explain natural or social phenomena. In other words, science research builds scientific knowledge. Science research is performed by applying systematic and constructed scientific method to obtain, analyze, and interpret data. A strong and testable hypothesis is the fundamental part of the scientific research. So, for example, utilization of garbage and other waste resources as cleaning materials, making of COVID-19 cure out of heat transfer. Another example, the role of sugar in food preservation, making soup out of guava, or electrical resources out of fruits and vegetables. Next, mathematics research is a study that looks at the migrant problems to enhance critical and logical thinking abilities. It gives the opportunity to master mathematics topics, and it provides an understanding of mathematics as an exact science. Mathematics research help us to develop confidence and increase enthusiasm to do more mathematical problems. It may need to find new formulas, and it can help finding ways to simplify calculation or problems. So for example, student difficulties in general mathematics as a systemic approach to changing classroom practices for enhancing mathematics outcomes. Another example, common errors of students in general mathematics, or practical work approach and problem-solving skills of students in algebra. Another research, agriculture research is aimed at improving productivity and quality of crops by their genetic improvement, better plant protection, irrigation, storage methods, farm mechanization, efficient marketing, and better management of agricultural resources. So agriculture plays a crucial role in the life of an economy. It is the backbone of the economic system. It does not only provide food and raw materials, but also employment opportunities. So for example, green space in school, social and environmental perspective, is urban gardening as a source of well-being. Another example, effect of different rates of nitrogen fertilizers on growth and quality of rice and corn, or shaping the modern farming through ag-tech fusion, growth and development of eggplant as influenced by various organic fertilizers. Okay, next. Fisheries research is conducted to increase the production of fishery resources for the purpose of providing human food. It helps the fisheries management authority such as Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or BFAR, to protect different bodies of water so that sustainable supply of aquatic resources is maintained. Example of studies, finding a future sustaining inland fisheries, fishing for change, fishery policy in the Philippines. So another research, ICT, or Information and Communication Technology research, is designed to ease knowledge gathering process to enhance resource development. It is conducted to make us ready to adapt with the changing times and to understand today's fast-changing knowledge and its peculiarities. Example of studies, the role of ICT in the new normal education, exploring the interactive computer simulation in public school. Next is business research. It's a process of acquiring detailed information of all the areas of business and using such information in maximizing the sales and profit of the business. It helps business firms determine which product or service is most profitable or in demand. For example, studies and developing a framework for small-scale business practices and strategies of small enterprises. Not small. Next is social science. Research is a study that focuses on finding reasons for human behavior. It is conducted to gather information about people and societies. It can change the already accepted principle through its research methodologies and findings. So example of studies, the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on employment opportunities, implementation of enhanced community quarantine in low-risk area of Misamis Oriental.